Carl Jung developed a psychology that, unlike many contemporary approaches, deeply embraced the spiritual dimension of human experience. He did not see spirituality as mere superstition or neurosis, but as a fundamental expression of the human psyche and an integral part of the individuation process. For him, religious and spiritual experiences were essential aspects of complete psychological development. Jung often emphasized that human beings have an innate religious function, considering spirituality not just as something culturally acquired but as an inherent part of the psyche. His approach was broad and inclusive, encompassing both formal religious traditions and more personal, unconventional spiritual expressions. When we explore the question of why the universe seems to deny love from a Jungian spiritual perspective, we enter a realm where psychology and spirituality intersect, offering deep insights into the transpersonal meaning of frustrated love experiences. The concept of synchronicity is fundamental to understanding the no's that the universe appears to impose on certain relationships. Jung developed this concept in collaboration with physicist Wolfgang Pauli, aiming to explain meaningful coincidences that could not be reduced to conventional causality. For Jung, synchronicities were not mere coincidences but manifestations of an acausal connective order underlying reality. These significant events momentarily reveal the deep unity between the psychic and physical worlds, between inner meaning and external occurrences, a unity recognized by many spiritual traditions as a fundamental characteristic of existence. When synchronistic obstacles repeatedly block a love, Jung would suggest that we are witnessing not just psychological dynamics but a meaningful pattern within the fabric of reality itself. These synchronicities can be interpreted as messages from a broader organizing principle, which Jung referred to as the unus mundus, the one world, a unitary ground that transcends the division between matter and psyche. In this sense, when the universe communicates through synchronicities by denying a love, it may represent a form of spiritual guidance, aligning an individual's life with a greater purpose that is not immediately apparent to the ego consciousness. At the core of Jungian psychology lies the concept of the self, the archetype of wholeness and the organizing center of the psyche. Jung often described the self in ways that transcend conventional psychology, drawing parallels with concepts such as the Atman in Hinduism, the soul, or the divine image in Abrahamic traditions. The self can be seen as an inner guiding force, distinct from the conscious personality. Jung suggested that this deeper center of the psyche possesses wisdom that surpasses the understanding of the ego. In his view, the self is both the center and the totality of the psyche, containing and organizing all other archetypes. When life circumstances deny a love, this may reflect the guidance of the self, directing the individual toward their most authentic development. While the ego may intensely desire a specific relationship, the self, with its broader perspective, may recognize that this particular relationship would not serve the person's deeper spiritual purpose. This perspective offers a spiritual understanding of denied love not as a cruel deprivation but as an expression of the wisdom of the self, redirecting psychic energy toward paths that best serve the individual's holistic development and spiritual evolution. For Jung, the process of individuation, the lifelong psychological development toward wholeness, has an inherently spiritual dimension. It is not just about psychological integration but is often described in religious terms as a journey of the soul. Individuation is both a psychological and a spiritual process. Jung asserted that the movement towards psychic wholeness simultaneously brings an individual closer to an experience of the transcendent. In his studies of alchemy, he saw the alchemical process of transformation as a metaphor for this spiritual journey. When a loving relationship is denied by the universe, this can be understood as a necessary detour or symbolic death that precedes a deeper transformation. In Jungian psychological alchemy, the stage of nigredo, the dark night of dissolution, often precedes higher levels of spiritual development. Thus, the experience of an impossible love may serve as an integral part of an individual's spiritual path, creating the necessary emptiness so that what seems like a denial may, in reality, be an invitation from the soul. This experience may call the individual toward a deeper relationship not only with others but with themselves and with the transcendent. In Jungian theory, archetypes are not merely psychological structures but possess a numinous quality that brings them closer to the divine. Jung often described archetypes as pre-existing forces within the collective unconscious, holding a power similar to the gods of ancient religions. When we fall in love, we are often moved by archetypal forces, particularly the anima, animus, and various aspects of the lover archetype. These archetypal energies carry a numinous quality that gives romantic love its transcendent and divine character. When the universe seems to deny a love, it may indicate the operation of other equally powerful archetypes within an individual's life. Perhaps the hermit, sage, or hero archetype, engaged in its own journey, is temporarily overpowering the lover archetype. This inner battle of the gods reflects the multidimensional nature of the human spiritual journey. Jung would suggest that each archetype represents a potential path of spiritual development. A denied love may signify that another archetypal path is currently in the foreground, requiring attention and integration before a particular romantic relationship can flourish. A central concept in Jungian psychology is the transcendent function, the process by which the tension between psychic opposites, such as conscious and unconscious, thought and feeling, produces a third element that transcends and integrates these opposites. This process is fundamentally transformative and often described by Jung in spiritual terms. When love is denied, creating suffering and inner conflict, this tension can activate the transcendent function. The struggle between the ego's desire for the relationship and the impossibility imposed by the universe creates the conditions for transformation. The psyche is led beyond dualistic thinking toward a higher synthesis, fostering profound spiritual and psychological growth. In this perspective, the experience of denied love is not merely an unfortunate event but a meaningful passage within the broader spiritual journey. What appears as the universe saying no to love may, in fact, be an invitation toward a deeper form of integration, one that leads not only to self-realization but also to a more profound and authentic connection with the transcendent. Denied love often leaves behind an intense longing, an ache that seems to stretch beyond the boundaries of the personal. In Jungian terms, this longing is not merely for the person who was lost, but for something far greater, an integration of the fragmented aspects of the self. When we deeply love another, we project onto them our unclaimed potential, our unlived possibilities, and our hidden inner world. The pain of separation, therefore, is not just about losing someone but about losing a part of ourselves that we had unconsciously placed in them. This realization can be the first step toward transformation, an invitation to turn inward and retrieve what was always ours to claim. Romantic love, especially when it is denied, acts as a mirror for the unconscious. The beloved reflects back not only our deepest desires but also our wounds, insecurities, and unacknowledged truths. Jung believed that relationships offer opportunities to integrate these shadow aspects, the parts of ourselves that we have rejected or ignored. When love is impossible, it compels us to confront these hidden forces. What we thought we sought in another may actually be a longing for inner wholeness. By recognizing this, the pain of denied love can become a path to self-knowledge rather than mere suffering. Such a path, however, is often marked by a period of deep existential crisis, a descent into what mystics call the dark night of the soul. When we are deprived of love that we long for, the familiar structures of meaning dissolve, leaving us in an emotional void. This is the moment when we come face to face with ourselves, stripped of illusion. Though painful, this stage is necessary for true spiritual maturation. Jung compared this state to the nigredo phase in alchemy, the blackening stage where everything disintegrates before it can be reborn in a new form. If embraced with openness, the suffering of lost love can catalyze a profound spiritual awakening, breaking apart old patterns and making space for something deeper. Denied love also brings us into direct contact with the mystery of synchronicity, those meaningful coincidences that suggest a hidden order beneath the chaos of life. Often, when love is blocked, we begin to notice strange patterns, moments that seem to carry a message from the universe. A name appearing unexpectedly, a song playing at just the right moment, or an event that mirrors our inner turmoil. These occurrences are not random. Jung believed synchronicities reveal the dialogue between the conscious and unconscious mind, guiding us toward a greater understanding of our soul's journey. The challenge is to remain open to these signs, allowing them to unfold without forcing a particular meaning. At the deepest level, the experience of denied love is shaped by archetypal forces that transcend personal experience. Love is not only an individual emotion, it is a universal force influenced by the anima and animus, the inner feminine and masculine energies that each person carries. When a love remains just out of reach, It may be because it is the manifestation of an archetype rather than a relationship that serves one's individuation. A great passion that cannot be realized in the physical world may be pointing to a spiritual lesson, a deeper work of integration that must take place within before it can manifest externally. The suffering of impossible love can also be transformed into creativity. Throughout history, artists, poets, and mystics have taken the pain of unfulfilled love and transmuted it into profound creative expressions. Jung viewed creativity as a pathway to individuation, a way for unconscious material to find symbolic form. When love is denied, it can fuel artistic endeavors, giving voice to emotions that transcend words. Engaging in any form of creative expression, writing, painting, music, or dance, can serve as an alchemical process, turning pain into beauty, longing into wisdom. This act of creation is not about escaping suffering but about transforming it into something meaningful. Through this transformation, our understanding of love itself begins to shift. Denied love expands the boundaries of what we consider to be love, challenging us to see beyond personal attachment. Many spiritual traditions describe a form of love that is not bound by possession or expectation, but is a recognition of interconnectedness. When a particular love is withheld, it may be an initiation into a more expansive experience of love, one that is not dependent on external circumstances but arises from an inner source. The pain that once seemed unbearable begins to reveal itself as an opening to something greater. When external union with a beloved is denied, it can also be an invitation to cultivate inner union. Jung saw the ultimate goal of individuation as the integration of the psyche's opposing forces, the conscious and the unconscious, the masculine and feminine, the personal and the divine. Rather than seeking completion in another, we are called to find wholeness within ourselves. This journey is not about rejecting love, but about moving toward a form of love that is not based on lack or need, but on fullness and self-awareness. The longing that once seemed directed toward another becomes a longing to know the self more deeply. This realization often requires the power of letting go. Many wisdom traditions teach that surrender is one of the highest spiritual practices, not as passive resignation, but as an active alignment with the deeper rhythms of life. Letting go of a love that is not meant to be does not mean suppressing feelings or denying the significance of the experience. Rather, it is an acknowledgement that its role in our journey has been fulfilled. In surrender, we do not lose. We make space. We open ourselves to the unknown, allowing new possibilities to emerge in ways we could not have anticipated. Ultimately, every experience of love, whether fulfilled or denied, is a step on the path of self-discovery. Jung believed that love is one of the most powerful forces for individuation, revealing both the highest and deepest aspects of the human soul. When the universe says no, it is not rejecting love itself but guiding us toward a fuller, deeper realization of what love truly is. This requires trust, not in external outcomes, but in the unfolding of our own journey. The pain that once seemed unbearable may, in time, be understood as a necessary passage, a sacred doorway leading toward the most profound love of all, the integration of the self. There is a profound mystery in the way love shapes us. The loves we lose, the desires that remain unfulfilled, and the longing that lingers in our hearts, all of these play a role in the unfolding of our deepest potential. The suffering we endure is not meaningless. It is part of a greater design, one that is often only visible in retrospect. As Jung wrote, there is no birth of consciousness without pain. If love were always easy, if every desire were instantly met, there would be no reason to grow, no reason to seek beyond what is immediate. This perspective does not diminish the grief of denied love, nor does it ask us to bypass our emotions with intellectual understanding. Rather, it invites us to sit with our pain, to listen to what it is teaching us, and to trust that even in loss, something valuable is being revealed. The love that was denied in the external world may be the love that ultimately leads us to ourselves. As we walk this path, we may come to see that love is not something we lose, nor something we must chase. Love is not confined to a specific relationship or moment in time. It is a force that moves through us, shaping us, transforming us, and calling us ever closer to our own wholeness. The love we once sought outside may, in the end, be the love that was waiting within us all along. If this message has resonated with you, if it has awakened something within you, then it is time to take the next step. Subscribe to the channel and continue this journey of self-discovery and growth. Here, you will find content that speaks directly to your heart. Do not miss the opportunity to connect more deeply with your true self. Subscribe now and deepen this journey with us.